Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Holy Plot once again. This is Liam, Jacob, and James as always, and we have just seen Blue Beetle. Now, when I say we, I mean me and James. Jacob has not seen it,
My
so you're
bad.
gonna get some live reactions because we're gonna go ahead and spoil it for him later. But before we get into it, as always, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. If you like the show, help the channel grow. All right. I guess I usually hand it to Jacob in this scenario, but I'm gonna start us off. I thought that Blue Beetle was better than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be a giant nothing burger that I had no emotional connection to, and that's not what I got. I'd probably give it like a seven, yeah, seven,
Yeah.
closer to a 6 than an 8, but still a 7. What worked for me is I really liked how infused with culture it was. It was
Okay.
very, very through the lens of a Mexican American, which was it was really cool to see. I think the director as well is Mexican American, if I am
I believe
not.
so.
Yeah, I think he is, and a lot of the people worked on it are as well. And you could just really tell it was sort of a love letter to that culture, which is it was really neat to see. I also liked the aesthetic of this movie quite a lot. I liked how they didn't just go with sort of a run-of-the-mill New York clone, and they made it a little bit cyberpunky. I thought some of the fight scenes were pretty fun. I thought the CGI was good compared to their last DC showing, The Flash, who is sort
Oh
of this
man.
channel's
Ooh.
baby. Um, all that being said, you could just tell from the trailer that if you have seen any superhero movie in the past like 5 years, you pretty much know what you're gonna get right out of the bat. It's gonna be a family good, revenge bad, yada yada yada. Doesn't quite know how to use the power, comes into his own. We've seen it a million times. So it's sort of a cool, culturally infused version of that with some cute messaging about family and some tender moments, but eh, eh.
I
James, what
mean,
do you think?
I will pitch in a little bit. It is exciting to see Blue Beetle get his due because he is a very, very high potential DC character.
Yeah, and they've been pushing. I'll get into my stuff. They've been pushing Blue Beetle for a while now, especially in the animated stuff. So it is wild to finally see him get a movie because I feel like they really want to get this character off the ground. As far as what I think about the actual movie, I'm gonna try to keep it short because I feel like I'm gonna pretty much have the generic take. Everything with the family was pretty good, and I hope I pronounced this right, but Zolo Maridueña, he did a great job
He
as
was
Jaime.
great. Yeah, that's
He
true.
did good. He was a good lead
He seems
and
passionate about it since the beginning.
very
Yeah.
passionate about it. I know people like him from Cobra Kai, but the family was actually just as good. I feel like that was the buzz for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason that it got a bump to theaters because it was going to drop on then HBO Max, and they gave it the bump up to theaters. Yeah,
Okay,
My
that's
not
my
good.
really.
theater was packed and people were popping off in it.
My theater was packed, and everybody was laughing, especially at George Lopez. I thought he did a great job. I thought he was really fun. The whole
Great to see
family
him
was just
back.
great. Which the stuff being so good with the family is what made a lot of the standard superhero movie stuff really kind of stick out. So
James, one thing I want to ask you, and it was something that you and I were bothered by given the trailers. It's the kind of
yes,
generic presentation of the scarab. How was that?
I didn't ever get to the point where I didn't feel it held the movie back. We've seen other versions of the Scarab voice that have been better, and
Hmm.
I feel like this movie was at its worst. And Liam, tell me if you agree. I feel like this movie was really trying to emulate the Tom Holland Spider-Man
It
sometimes.
it definitely was. That's a lot of the Discord. I was going to ask you, actually, is this DC's Spider-Man?
I mean, I would say like as far as the actual, I would Nightwing is DC's Spider-Man in my opinion.
No, but this movie is this
This movie,
movie
yeah,
DC's
this movie
Spider-Man?
absolutely. I think it was trying to be like MC's Spider-Man, and that was when I thought the movie
Mm.
was at its worst. That's
Oh
definitely how I felt.
no.
It
Oh
did
First,
remind
no.
me of Activate Instant Kill when he has all the
yeah.
arms in Endgame.
Oh no,
Well,
dude. I'm not a big MCU
well,
Spider-Man fan.
you know,
It's probably better than MC's
even
Spider-Man.
by the end of the movie, Jacob, they do try to have the Scarab have like a personality. It has a name. It tries to say witty comebacks.
Okay.
it's enough that if like they bring this character back, which I want to get into, they can keep running with this and they can probably improve it more and more. How it is
Cool.
now, it's very much a Jarvis voice still, though.
Well, let's get into spoilers, James. Let's get into spoilers.
All right. Well,
7 out of 10. Go see it.
Yeah, it's all right.
First things first, for spoilers, Jacob, we kind of mentioned the generic superhero stuff. We got to talk about the third act. This movie has a bad case of evil robot Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, you could see that from the
It
trailers.
does, and it looks exactly like Samus Metroid.
No, dude, it looks like Pacific Rim. Like, that's immediately what I thought of.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, man, he literally hops in like an edgy black and red suit, and it's.
Where's the reach, man?
I understand holding on that, because one thing that this movie does put some focus on, and I'll appreciate this, is it does not ignore that he's not the first Blue Beetle. And it might be a lot to do the reach and talk about that there's like 3 versions of this character in the same.
That is very cool.
Now, another thing, I do feel like this movie struggled with the villains.
The villains were absolutely far and away my least favorite part of this.
And I got to get this out. They pull a little bit of a Steven Universe at the end here.
What? Oh, they do. They totally do.
They-
We don't have to fight. That was weird.
Yeah, dude, that's bullshit. If you try to kill my entire family, I don't care if your like house was bombed when you were a kid, dude. You're an asshole. I'm gonna kill the shit out of you.
Yeah, it was a little rough. I literally like in the theater I said, "Oh, it's a Steven Universe."
You know what else is funny? The villain was just so fucking generic in this.
He looked like Master Chief in the Paramount show.
Don't even get me started. Him and Blue Beetle were fighting, and it was just unrelated to anything. They're fighting just them in like a field, and the villain goes, "Your family, your love for your family makes you weak." What does his family doesn't have anything to do with anything right now? First of all, he's kicking the shit out of you. Second of all, his family isn't even here right now. And every time you fought, his family's like bailed him out. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I do feel like I've seen this all before.
That's and you could guess they have the moment where he screams and throws down the hand like he's gonna kill the bad guy, and then it cuts back and
it's by his head.
By the head.
Whoa, yeah.
That's
whatever.
The stuff where it's like, dude, we've seen this 800 times just this past year.
My family makes me strong. It's like
now,
it was like Fast and Furious.
When the movie is George Lopez freaking out that Jaime damaged his truck, it's great. And
That's
I love
true.
it. And they made me laugh. The whole family made me laugh.
I mean, honestly, everything you say is exactly what I expected it to be. I think I was a bit more optimistic than most on this movie.
Can I say one thing before my final point? I was terrified of hearing that Hans Zimmer theme and a Wonder Woman cameo in this movie. I don't know why. I was so scared that
it's because they've done it. They've done it. How many times? Like,
twice
3
now.
times.
It didn't happen. It did not happen. There
That's
is
true.
no Wonder
Was
Woman.
there any glove shitting in this?
There was 0. They mentioned Superman and Flash by name.
Yeah.
That's it, though.
My final point for this video is where I want to see this character next, because he absolutely deserves to move over to the DCU. I definitely want that to be the main point for my thoughts on this. I think they got to get this guy in with the Titans. I think they need to do Teen Titans and get him in.
That would be very cool.
That'd be cool.
Like, I was watching the hallway fight scene, and I was just focused more on how much I'd love to see him with the Teen Titans. So that's where I want to see him go.
Cool. Liam, anything else?
My final thoughts on this movie are, I don't really care about the source material. I'm not a Blue Beetle fan. I know like nothing about him. I thought that this was an entertaining enough movie. I probably wouldn't have seen it if it wasn't my job. I don't regret seeing it. I guess I'd be happy to see him return. The actor did a good job. But most exciting part of the movie was George Lopez, so.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what I expected. So unless you guys have anything else, I think that is it.
Save
Nope.
7.
Yep. 7 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching Holy Plot. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and get out of here. The video's over. Get out of here.